evening and welcome to the national news broadcast on Channel Live. And we are ready to bring you the top stories from home and around the world. I'm Natalia Virvadan.
I'm Muin Hetiawachi and here are today's top stories. The new Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa assumes duties in his prime ministerial portfolio. The swearing-in of the new cabinet of ministers will take place tomorrow in Kandy. Crises continue in opposition parties over the nationalist parliamentary seats. Summons issued on 3 persons, including former Minister Thalata Korala, to appear before the Presidential Commission. Another group of suspects taken into custody over illegal narcotic rackets. Professor Ganganathisanaike bids farewell to the nation. A new vaccine from Russia to curb COVID-19.
And now on the top story for tonight, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, sworn in as the new Prime Minister of Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, assumed in his duties at the Temple Trees this morning. Obtaining an outstanding public mandate at the general elections, leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Mahinda Rajapaksa, was elected to the parliament contesting from Kurunegala district, while becoming the candidate with the highest preferential votes in the history of the country, accumulating 527,364 preferential votes. The ceremony to assume duties was commenced following the religious observances held at the Bodhi tree at the Temple Trees premises.
වැඩම කොට වදාළ ගෞරවනීය මහා සංඝරත්නයට වැඳ නමස්කාර කොට අනිකුත් ආගමික නායකයින්ගේ ආශිර්වාදයද ගෙන එතුමන් දැන් මේ සූදානම් වන්නේ සිය දූර කාලයේ වැඩ කටයුතු ආරම්භ කිරීමටයි.
බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි.
Subsequently, the Prime Minister assumed in his duties at the main hall of the Temple Trees amid the chanting of Jai Pirita.
Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tiriditi bhati tejo jaya siddhi mahiddhi magunang aparimita punyadikaras sabbantaraya nivarana samattasya bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasya sattingsa
Chief incumbent of the Vidyodaya Pirivena and Chief Sanganayaka of Galle and Western Provinces, Venerable Dr. Balangada Sobhitathera, conducted the Buddhist religious observances, followed with Catholic and Islamic religious rites.
අද දවසේදී අපේ මව්බිමේ සියලුම වැඩ කටයුතු ආරම්භ කරලා මේ මොහොතේදී එතුමාට දීර්ඝායුෂය ලබා කර දෙන මෙනව
යශ්‍යාම් හිරඤ්ඤම් වින්දේයම් කාමස්වම් පුරුෂානගම්.
We thank you for having given us this leader, Honorable Mahinda Rajapaksa. He's going to be our leader for the future. Thank you, my Lord.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, who was elected as the youngest parliamentarian in 1970, has assumed the presidency twice and the premiership thrice in the past. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has contested for 9 parliamentary elections and 3 presidential elections during his 50 years long political career. Becoming a cabinet minister for the first time in 1994, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was elected to the premiership in 2004. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was elected to the presidency in 2005 and reappointed in 2010 subsequently. The Prime Minister was sworn in before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa for the 4th time as the new Premier on 9th August at the sacred site of Kalani Rajamaha
රට වෙනුවෙන් මොනතරම් සංවේදී රට වෙනුවෙන් මොනතරම් අනාගත දැක්මක් ඇති තීන්දුව තීරණවලට එළඹුණාද. ඒ නිසා රටේ ජනතාව එතුමන් හැමදාමත් අපේක්ෂා කළා. පෙරදා වාගේම රටේ අසම සම තීන්දුව තීරණ රැසක් රැගෙන මේ මාතෘභූමිය ඔසවා තබන්නට එතුමන්ට ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය ලැබේවා.
After assuming duties of the Prime Ministerial portfolio, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa filled the parliamentary application through the online registration system and submitted his personal details to the Parliament Secretariat. The Secretariat introduced this new online registration system for the newly elected members of the Parliament due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Secretary to the Parliament Secretariat, Damika Ganganathisanaike, was also present at this occasion. The 9th Parliament set to be commenced on 20th August.
The new Secretary to the Prime Minister, Ganganathisanaike, assumed his duties at Templetrees this morning. During the presidential tenure of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, the newly appointed Secretary to the Prime Minister, Ganganathisanaike, functioned as an additional Secretary to the President and Chief Presidential Staff during the period from 2005 to 2015. He also assumed the post of Assistant Secretary to the Prime Minister during the premiership tenure of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in 2004. As one of the most senior officials of the Sri Lankan Administrative Service, Secretary to the Prime Minister, Ganganathisanaike is a graduate of Kelaniya University. He also assumed chairmanship of several state institutes in the country. Meanwhile, the swearing-in ceremony of the new Cabinet of Ministers is set to take place at the historic Assembly Hall, also known as Magul Maduwa, in Sri Dalada Maliga premises. Following the outstanding victory achieved in the recently concluded parliamentary election, all preparations are currently underway for the swearing-in ceremony of the new Cabinet of Ministers. The relevant Gazette notification consists of 28 ministries and 40 state ministries. The relevant scopes of the ministerial portfolios has been issued. The swearing-in ceremony of the new Cabinet of Ministers will be held at the historic Assembly Hall, also known as Magul Maduwa, of the Sri Dalada Maliga premises. All preparations have been made to live telecast the swearing-in ceremony of the new Cabinet of Ministers on the national television from 8:45 a.m. onwards. The ceremony will be held under the patronage of the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
Leaders of the minority parties have said that the selection of the parliamentary nominees to the national list of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya has been directed to the leadership of the party. These remarks were made during a meeting held today. A controversial situation occurred with the minority parties over the parliamentary nominees to the national list of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. Accordingly, a meeting was held between the leader of Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Sajith Premadasa, and the leaders of minority parties, Rauf Hakim, Mano Ganeshan, Rishad Badiuddin, and P. Digambaram today. A group of people engaged in a protest action today demanding to nominate Venerable Galawada Atte Gnanasara for the nationalist parliamentary seat from the Our People's Power Party. The protest was conducted in front of the National Election Commission Secretariat in Rajagiriya. A letter directed to Venerable Vedanigama Vimalatissa by Chairman of the Election Commission Mahinda Deshapriya has indicated that a crisis situation prevails over the secretaryship of the Our People's Power Party, and two persons representing as the General Secretaries of the party have nominated two candidates for the only nationalist parliamentary seat available for the party. Accordingly, the Election Commission has decided to abstain from gazetting the nomination of the party for the nationalist parliamentary seat until a decision has been reached after studying the relevant legal conditions in this regard. Meanwhile, nominations have yet to be made for the nationalist parliamentary seats of the United National Party and National People's Power.
The Berala police arrested a female suspect while transporting heroin. The suspect is a resident of T20 area in Berala. The raid was conducted in line with the campaign for eradication of drug menace in the Western Province. The police said that 380 sachets containing 15 grams and 200 milligrams of heroin were found in the possession of the suspect. The suspect is a resident of Baseline Road, Berala, and her husband has also been revealed as a drug addict. Two suspects who were distributing drugs in a three-wheeler in Godagama Homagama have been arrested by the Migora police yesterday. The police said more than 20 grams of heroin and locally manufactured weapons were also found in the possession of the suspects, and the main suspect has been alleged to be involved in various crimes. He was released on bail 3 months ago. Senior DIG of Western Province, Deshapandu Tennakon, said that the objective of the mission is to eradicate drugs entirely from the society. He further said plans are already being set to confiscate the assets held by people relevant to drug rackets. He also said that he will identify the drug smuggling networks and expecting to take legal action against them. Customs Narcotics Control Unit at the Bandaranaike International Airport has taken 4,960 tablets of the drugs into custody. Customs said that the drugs were detected at an air cargo cleaning center while wrapped and hidden within cardboards used for packaging of clothing. The packages were air freighted from Netherlands under the name of a resident in Colombo 15. The cache of illegal drugs was presented to the Police Narcotics Bureau.
A news report on a new invention of an 11-year-old student to control the spread of dengue mosquito was telecasted on national television recently. Accordingly, with the mediation of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, the student received the opportunity to enroll into Richmond College Galle today. It is an occasion of significance that the child was enrolled into the school on the same day the Prime Minister assumed duties in his premiership portfolio. Studying in the 7th grade at Richard Patirana School in Uluvitike Galle, Janana Shasmita is the inventor of the new innovation. He presented his invention to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees recently. Praising the new invention, the Prime Minister instructed the authorities to enroll the child into Richmond College Galle for the benefit of the future of the child. Accordingly, Janana Satishma was able to enroll into the English medium class of the 7th grade in Richmond College on the same day that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa assumed duties in his premiership portfolio. The new invention has been crafted using a discarded rice cooker. The student pointed out that the mosquito larvae and eggs can be destroyed by connecting electricity to the water-filled black-colored equipment. The invention has been created to automatically function once in 3 days. The patent for the new invention expected to be obtained in the next few days. He extended his gratitude to the Prime Minister for the support provided to obtain necessary institutional instructions in this regard. Young new inventor Janana Satishma said that the Prime Minister appreciated his invention and extended his gratitude for the opportunity extended to enroll him into Richmond College. He said that the Prime Minister promised him that the patent for his invention will be obtained at the earliest. He then extended his best wishes to the Prime Minister to have more strength and courage to further assist children who have hidden talents.
The Met Department has forecasted that several spells of showers may occur over the southern province over 75 millimeters tonight. Several spells of showers will also occur in Sabaragamuwa, central, western provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts tomorrow. According to the Met Department, showers or thunder showers are likely to occur in Uva province and Ampara district after 2 p.m. tomorrow. Wind speeds can increase up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour at times over the island, particularly in north, north-central and northwestern provinces, and in Hambantota, Trincomalee and Mathale districts, and along the western slopes of the central hills. Heavy showers occurred in several parts of Galle district according to reports. Several roads in Galle town have also been inundated. The daily lives of the public have been affected due to the cold and thick misty weather in many parts of the Central Highlands due to the showers prevailing at present. Heavy showers have occurred in western slopes of the Central Hills in the past couple of days. The police issues warnings to drivers to be more cautious when travelling areas with bends and slopes due to the slippery conditions of the road network. The water levels of the Mau-Sakale and Castle Ridge reservoirs continue to rise due to the increasing rains in the Central Highlands. One sluice gate of the Upper Kotatmale reservoir has been automatically opened due to the rising water levels. Meanwhile, 4 sluice gates of the Polgolla reservoir has been opened. The public residing in low-lying areas of the Mahavali River have been warned to be cautious over the prevailing conditions.
Renowned intellectual university lecturer and author Professor Damika Ganganathisanaike passed away this evening. Professor Disanaike was suffering from an ailment for several months prior to his demise at the age of 62. Professor Damika Ganganathisanaike obtained a first-class Bachelor of Arts degree from the Sri Jayawardhanapura University. Securing a higher scholarship, he then obtained a master's degree in mass communication in Tokyo, Japan in 1990. Subsequently, he obtained his PhD degree in Japan in 1993. He is an intellectual with a fluent knowledge in Japanese language. He also rendered his services as a visiting professor in several universities in Japan. Late Professor Disanaike began his career as a university lecturer in the country as an assistant lecturer of Sri Jayawardhanapura University. He also assumed the chairmanship of the Public Performance Board. Late Professor Disanaike has authorized several academic books on mass communication. He was also the columnist of most popular column Paniwalalu. Late Professor Disanaike also assumed the chairmanship of 3 state media institutions, namely Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, an independent television network. He also functioned as the ambassador of Sri Lanka to Japan till last December. The remains of late Professor Disanaike will be kept at his residence at Sambuddhiwatha Road, Mattegoda from tomorrow.
Now for a short break before more news. All right, now for more news about the COVID fund. Following corporate and individual donations and direct deposits, Itukama COVID-19 Healthcare and Social Security Fund balance has now surpassed 1,564 million rupees. Dhanasari Vithanage, Shriyani Vijayawardena and G.H. Aryasiri have donated 100,000 rupees to the fund. Kapitige Yasapala has contributed 50,000 rupees and Basnayaka Nilame of the Sri Maha Pattini Devalaya, Hemantha Bandara, has donated 500,000 rupees to the fund. Meanwhile, Basnaik Nilame of the historic Paskama Sri Natha Devalaya, Daminda Bandara, has donated 250,000 rupees. Basnaika Nilame of the Sri Sumana Saman Devalaya, Jayampati Bandara, has also donated 100,000 rupees to the fund. In addition, Departments of Posts has conveyed 1.6 million. Aegis International has donated a sum of 373,600 rupees, and the heads of local government institutions serving in Uva province, members and public officers has contributed more than 10 million to the fund. Accordingly, a member of the Thangalla Urban Council, Y. Douglas, has donated 45,000 rupees. Ministry of Plantation Industries and Export Agriculture and institutions under purview has donated another 969,000 rupees. Further, preschool teachers trade unions of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramana has donated 6,500 rupees to the fund. Children Senidu Visandra, Danisuru Vihansa, Kajini Vikramasinghe, Bhavindu Vikramasinghe, Omena Sevandi, Manujagamage, Pavan Chamiru and Yesunu Thurul, Hansali Vijayatunga has also contributed to the e-government COVID-19 fund. M. Gamini D. Puris has also donated 10,000 rupees and T.K. Ranatunga, P.A. Kanthri and R.H. Vimalaratna and P.R.J. Senuriratna has donated to the fund.
Total number of fully recovered COVID-19 patients in the country has increased up to 2,622. The number of patients undergoing further hospitalized treatment currently stands at 247. A total of 9 COVID-19 patients were detected from the country today. 5 of the newly detected patients have been identified as returnees from UAE. 3 patients have been identified as returnees from Indonesia and 1 patient was identified as a returnee from Saudi Arabia. The total number of fully recovered COVID-19 patients in the country currently stands at 2,622, which is a percentage of 91.04. The number of patients undergoing further hospitalized treatment currently stands at 247, which is a percentage of 8.57. Meanwhile, the obtaining of biosamples from randomly selected persons to conduct PCR tests is currently underway in Polonnaruwa district. Accordingly, biosamples from 100 persons were obtained at the Polonnaruwa depot today for relevant PCR tests. A group of Sri Lankans stranded in India and Qatar, unable to return to the country due to the spread of the COVID-19, returned to the country through Katunayake International Airport this morning. The group of Sri Lankans returned from India consisted of 110 persons, while the group arrived from Qatar consisted of 42 Sri Lankans. All the returnees were directed to PCR tests at the airport. Meanwhile, another group of Sri Lankans stranded in Maldives returned to the country this afternoon on a Sri Lankan Airlines flight arrived at Mattala International Airport. They were directed to PCR tests at the airport and taken to the quarantine centres accordingly. Meanwhile, Prisons Commissioner EMJCLB Ekanayaka said that all prisons across the country which were closed for visitors will be reopened from 15th August under strict health guidelines. The police department has taken steps to provide face masks for the schools with children belonging to low-income earning families on free of charge. The distribution of 5,000 face masks to 13 selected schools was carried out today under the patronage of Senior DIG Deshabandhu Tennakoon. Also, steps have been taken to provide protective gear for the schools as well.
Meanwhile, reports have indicated that summons have been issued to the former Minister of Law and Order, Thalta Altukorala, former IGP Pujit Jayasundara, and Assistant Prisons Commissioner Damika Vikramasinghe to appear before the Commission on August 24th. The directive was issued by the Chairman of the Presidential Commission appointed to investigate the political revenge and victimization former Supreme Court Judge Upali Abeyaratne. The order was issued in relevance to a complaint lodged by former Prisons Commissioner Emil Ranjan Lamaheva to the Presidential Commission. The order has been issued by granting a request presented by the counsel representing Emil Ranjan Lamaheva, attorney at law Nimal Fernando. He has also requested the Commission to issue notices to the Chairman of the Public Service Commission, yet the request was denied by the Commission. Lawyer Chamal Fernando recorded before the Commission that no responses have been received yet on the appeal which was submitted to the Public Services Commission in regard to promotion of Emil Ranjan Lamaheva.
Mayor of Kurunegala, Tushara Sanjeeva Vitharana, has filed a petition with the Court of Appeal seeking an order to prevent the enforcement of the warrant issued for his arrest. The Kurunegala Police Headquarters Inspector OIC of the Special Investigations Division of Kurunegala, the Attorney General and Director General of Archaeology, Professor Ganganathisanaike, and Kurunegala Chief Magistrate were named as respondents in the petition. Petitioners said that certain political parties socialized wrong opinions with a broadened propaganda given by the media on the incident of the destruction of a building in Kurunegala city. Petitioner further said that police investigations in this regard was also commenced as a result of an appeal presented to the Court of Appeal by a person connected to the People's Liberation Front. And we are going to bring you world news right after this break.